Welcome to the X Corner. I'm here adding a little mutation to that superhero crew still. I'll be covering the X comics for the week of August 22nd, 2018. This week we have 5 comics. Hunt for Wolverine Mystery in Madripoor number 4, Mr. and Mrs. X number 2, Old Man Logan number 46, X-Men Gold number 34, and X-Men Red number 7. Spoilers, of course. We'll start with Hunt for Wolverine Mystery in Madripoor number 4, written by Jim Zub and art by Tony Silas, with Leonard Kirk. We finally get to the last of the original 4 Hunt for Wolverine minis. We left off the X-Women as they were separated fighting Viper and her crew, and Rogue and Storm were stuck in a runaway rocket. This whole issue is narrated by Betsy as she finds herself stuck inside the vampire's psyche. She is surrounded by the shades of the vampire's victims, including a piece of Logan, who has been partially drained years ago. Using the shade's lust for revenge, Betsy recreates herself and destroys the vampire. She was now back in her original self. Betsy was merged with a Japanese ninja back in the 90s, because what's more extreme than a psychic Japanese ninja? Now back in the real world, Psylocke joins her teammates, and with the help of Magneto, they defeat Viper and save Rogue and Storm. The rocket, however, gets away to cause unknown issues in the future. Kitty finds out the people who hired Viper were the same group from the other minis, and pledges to follow that lead. Meanwhile, back where the vampire was defeated, we find out not only Betsy got out, but also the Japanese ninja she was merged with. I'm so happy that Betsy is in original form. So many fans love the Japanese Psylocke, and I'm sure this won't go over well with the fandom, but good old British Betsy was my first and favorite Psylocke. I hope she finds her old armor too. This miniseries was strong on the action. The art wasn't the best, except the inner psyche scene this issue drawn by Leonard Kirk, which made me wish the whole thing was done by him. And the story didn't really go anywhere. The X-Women were attacked and separated, and over 4 issues they got back together and beat their attackers. The mystery bit here was thin to non-existent. That is not to say I didn't enjoy it though. All the women felt real and different, which is something to say. I enjoyed the strange combinations of X-Men that you don't get to usually see. Overall a strong 7, no big reveals, unlike the other books, but these series culminate next week with the Hunt for Wolverine Dead Ends, so we'll see where that takes us. Then there's Mr. and Mrs. X number 2, written by Kelly Thompson, art by Oscar Bazaldua. When we left off, Gambit and Charisse were kidnapped by the Shi'ar Imperial Guard, and Rogue was saved by Deadpool. The Guard find Deadpool's cloaked ship and shoot it down. It crashes on a planet, but before the Guard can go and get it, Charisse uses a MacGuffin teleporter to take all the Guard away. This will not be the last convenient teleportation in the book. Gambit finds Rogue as Deadpool tries to take the egg that everyone seems to want. Rogue and Gambit kick Deadpool around for a bit, then TechNet of all groups shows up to scoop up the egg. After a fun fight, eventually Rogue, Gambit, and Deadpool win, and Rogue steals one of the TechNet's powers to teleport the bad guys away. Now Rogue and Gambit are on their way back to Earth in their ship, arguing with Deadpool about who gets the egg. But then it hatches, revealing a clone of Rogue. This comic is a deep dive into X-Men villains. TechNet? They're an old Excalibur alien mercenary group. The art is beautiful, as always, by Bazaldua. The facial quirks are a delight. Deadpool is at his Deadpooliest, and I love the play between the newlyweds. So far a fun space romp, and I can't wait to see what random X history they dredge up next. If the Starjammers don't show up, I'll be surprised. 8 out of 10. Then we have Old Man Logan number 46, written by Ed Brisson and art by Damian Cosiro. Finally an Old Man Logan I can fully get behind. Logan calls on Alpha Flight, and Shaman in particular, to give him a second opinion on his health. Shaman, as a medical doctor and a native shaman, comes at it from both directions but comes to the same conclusion. Logan is dying and nothing can stop it. The Alpha Flight team was on their way to an alien incursion in Nova Scotia, so Logan tags along. Some kind of plant monster has taken over a small town. Logan tells his friend Puck that he's dying, and when Puck starts to deny it, and says there must be some way to fix him, Logan says he's tired and just wants to see his wife and kids again. Before they can continue their conversation, the team tracks the plant to a central place. Logan and Puck find survivors, but the plant monster grows and starts to take shape. This was a perfect Old Man Logan issue. He meets up with old friends, and they have to fight a plant monster from space. Such a nice change from the dour last few arcs. There's still pathos as Logan gets to grips with his mortality, but it isn't as sad as he starts to accept his fate. I also liked how Alpha Flight didn't go in guns blazing. They started to scientifically analyze the issue, and not exasperate the problem by attacking right away. Very Canadian of them. The art was much more comic booky than the last few arcs, but that works with all the costumed heroes here. Old Man Logan looks especially ragged and old, which is a nice touch. I like the way this series is building towards an inevitable end and showing the stages of grief. Burson is doing something a little more subtle here than his other books, and I like that. 8 out of 10. Next we have X-Men Gold 34, written by Mark Guggenheim and art by Michelle Bandini. Storm is reunited with her dead parents. She can't help but feel happy, but she knows there's something bad is going on. Meanwhile, Kitty is fighting some android, and Deliana comes to chat. She is guilty for her role in the marriage not happening. Kitty reassures her she isn't to blame and says that they might not be sisters-in-law, but they're still sisters. Back in Africa, Storm finds a burial chamber where Uvo is keeping all the dead villagers. She confronts him, and he grabs her by the throat and tells her the villagers aren't dead. Not anymore. She tries to call Stormcaster, but it has forsaken her. She escapes Uvu only to be overwhelmed by the villagers who are now sort of zombies, including her own parents. We continue the Storm solo story with just a flash of the X-Men soap opera I love. I still wish this had been a solo miniseries. It's still good though, and Storm's happiness for seeing her dead parents, but the need to find out what's really going on, was very good. Zombies are always a downer nowadays, but Uvo is creepy enough as a zombie master that it sort of makes up for it. 7 out of 10, only because there was those few Kitty melodrama pages. Lastly, we have X-Men Red number 7, written by Tom Taylor and art by Carmen Canero. Atlantis is being attacked by Kid Abomination, whoever he is. Namor is having a hard time with him until Gentle and Jean show up. Gentle punches Kid Abomination out of the ocean, and then Storm zaps him, destroying the Nano Sentinel inside of him. Meanwhile, in the British ambassador's plane, the X-Men are trying to steal the dead ambassador's phone to clear their names. Cassandra Nova activates one of her agents, who starts shooting into the cargo hold randomly where the X-Men are. Trinary gets hit in the hip and loses control of their Sentinel, who flops down right onto the plane. It's about to crash, but they are able to stabilize Trinary enough to get her to regain control of the Sentinel, and it lands the plane. The team explains to the new ambassador what is going on, and he releases the phone to them. Jean then broadcasts all over the world the proof of their innocence, and that Cassandra Nova is active in causing mutant hysteria. A strong finale to the first arc of the X-Men Red. Nova's still out there, but her shadow plan has been brought into the light. The art here is much better than normally. I have made it known I'm not a fan of Asteroid's art, but here Carmen Canero makes everyone look different from each other, but consistent to themselves throughout the whole book. That's all I asked for. The final team shot is great, and you can see everyone has their own body type and look. There was a nice pace to this book too. As the plane started going down, the tension and speed of everything ramped up perfectly. This title is definitely shifting into second gear. 8 out of 10. Another strong week, 7 and 8s all around. You can just feel that the X-Men are in a renaissance. Having weathered the last few years, it's nice to feel the storm pass and see the sun come out on our merry mutants. It's like they suddenly realized what makes the X-Men work. Or maybe they finally got the right people in the books, not just guys who write Avengers. I'm looking at you, Bendis the Destroyer. How's it going over there on Superman? Anyway, next week is a big one, so I have a feeling it's going to be split up into a bunch of videos. We have our regular books, Extermination number 2, X-Men Grand Design Second Genesis wraps up, as well as the New Mutants Dead Souls miniseries. No rest for the wicked. Later.